There was a 20-ton door in the bank vault, and there was iron in its walls. The builders were so confident about it that they did not even put a security alarm in the bank vault, because it was called an unbreakable vault. The illusion of this was broken when the dacoits made a master plan and hid in this vault for 27 hours, deceiving the security. What was this master plan? And why is it considered the biggest bank robbery in history? Before talking about this, let's go straight to the day of July 19th, 1976. The sun had risen on Monday, and staff members had started arriving at the bank named Societe Generale in Nice, France. This bank was considered to be the most secure and strongest vault bank in the world. Until today, according to the routine, the bank staff went to open the vault. It was a very heavy door with a very complicated lock. They put a lock combination, but the door did not open. Now, it is important to know that this door had already caused problems many times because it weighed about 20 tons. It often got stuck. The bank staff thought that, as usual, it is stuck today, so they contacted the company that made the vault. After half an hour, the company's experts came to the bank and started trying to open the door, but the surprising thing was that this time the door was not opening. Even from the company's experts, he attempted several times, but this time the door was not opening. Even from the company's experts, he attempted several times, but this door was not ready to open in any way. Things were getting serious now, because there was a queue of customers, and it was now a question of the bank's reputation. Finally, after 3 hours, he decided to drill a hole in the wall of the vault to see what was stuck in the door. There were no signs of any forced entry at the door of the vault, and no signs of any kind were found on all 4 walls. When the hole was drilled from the heavy-duty drill machine and peeped inside, what we see is that someone has welded the door of the vault from inside and closed it. It was very difficult to believe this scene because there was only one way to enter the vault. There was no light in it, and no window. It was impossible to go inside the vault. Now, seeing this, everyone realized that there is something abnormal here. They ordered machinery and decided to break the wall of the vault and go inside. This work was very time-consuming because these walls were much thicker than normal walls, and there was also iron between them. Well, after many hours of hard work, there was such a hole that a person could go inside it. And when it was seen inside, this scene was unbelievable. The bank vault was looted. Some lockers were broken and some were open, and the most interesting thing was that these famous words were written on the wall of the vault with spray paint, whose English translation is "without arms, without hate, and without violence." Now the bank staff came to their senses that they saw a tunnel in the ground of the vault. Now the rest of the work was of the police. Hitch had reached that time. The robber broke 400 safe boxes out of 4,000, including the money and gold blocks in the vault, took valuables from inside, and fled. The tunnel they had dug was leading to the city's largest underground sewerage line there. The police found a lot of evidence, including tools and 27 gas cylinders with which the dacoits used a welding torch. Not only that, but the sewerage line also found ventilation equipment for fresh air and a 1-kilometer-long electrical cable. This loot was worth more than $20 million, which is now worth $110 million, or equal to 900 crore rupees. It was not only the largest bank heist of the century, but this police investigation is also the largest investigation in France anyway. This thing had spread all over the world. The bank's reputation was badly damaged, but it was also a very sad place for the French police. For the next few months, the police searched every nook and cranny, caught the people around, interrogated the bank staff, but could not find any clue about the robbers. Then, after 3 months, in October 1976, the police got a very big lead. A member of the group of robbers was caught on the tip of his own girlfriend. At first, he was not agreeing, but when the police checked his condition, he burst out and took the name of the entire gang. The surprising thing for the police was that this gang used to be famous for petty thefts. The fact that they had done such a big bank heist was not digestible. The mastermind of this plan was actually someone else. During the interrogation, the gang members gave the police the name of a person who was the mastermind of the theft. According to them, this Albert Ismajari was actually a photographer. When the police arrested him, he didn't look like a criminal at all. Simple dressing, simple lifestyle, and living in a normal house on the outskirts of the city. When his neighbors found out, everyone said that Albert is a simple photographer who always does his job. But what the police were thinking about Albert Spaggiari was completely different. He immediately confessed to the police that he is the mastermind behind the bank heist. This case was almost closed for the police, but it was just the beginning. According to Albert, he had previously taken a locker in this bank and used it as an excuse to go into the vault and capture photos of everything. He had previously kept an alarm clock in his own locker, which was set at night when there was no alert and no security alarm. It was confirmed that there was no security system in the vault. Then he went to the city government office in the guise of an engineer and got the city map. On this map, he estimated where the sewerage line is and how far it is from the bank. Then he calculated that if he dug a 26-foot tunnel from the nearby sewerage line, he could go straight to the bank vault. Now, this work required a lot of hard work, so Albert contacted a gangster in the city and told him the whole plan. The gangster put his men on this work. It took about 2 months to dig the tunnel because this work was being done without machinery, and it was very important to do this work only at night when there was no one in the bank. In the meantime, Albert was trying his best not to let anyone hear his voice on the road above the sewerage line. Then on the night of July 18th, Saturday and Sunday, he finally entered the vault. For the next 27 hours, he looted the vault with great ease, during which he had lunch and dinner there, and before leaving, he wrote these famous words. The police presented Albert to the court, where he admitted his crime in front of the judge. During the interrogation, he wrote the evidence of his plan and the details of the stolen money on a paper and the code word. He said that he would only give this evidence to the judge, and only the judge would be able to read this code word for this work. The judge called Albert to his room. Albert gave the paper to the judge, on which the city map was made. Now the judge was about to understand that Albert jumped out of the window of the room. This room was on the first floor, and there was a car standing below it. Albert fell on the roof of the car and immediately got up and ran away on a bike that was already waiting for him. Despite the police's efforts, he could not be caught. After many years, his interview was broadcast on a TV show. In it, that he was very fond of treasures from the age of 12. And I fulfilled this hobby with this heist. It felt like he was bothering the French police through this interview. After that, where did Albert go? This mystery has not been solved till date. In 1989, Albert Spaggiari died. His mother said that someone had kept Albert's dead body outside his house.